Hey everyone, welcome back to the JavaScript tutorial for beginners part 4. Today in part 4 of our beginner JavaScript series, we're going to be diving into arrays and objects. We're going to be learning more about what they are, why they're useful, and how to use them in your code. If you've never heard of these terms before, don't worry, we'll explain everything step by step with simple examples you can follow right on the screen. So without further ado, let's start coding. So let's first start with arrays. You can think of an array like a box that holds multiple values, almost like a shopping bag full of items. So let's go ahead and create our first array. So we'll start with creating it like a variable. Let shopping bag equal, and this is where it's going to differ. In order to make an array, we have to use square brackets. So arrays are written inside of square brackets, and the values are separated by commas. Each item in the array has a position, which we call an index. So in JavaScript, we start counting from 0, not 1. So let's go ahead and enter a few items. We'll say maybe in our shopper cart we have apples. Again, comma to separate that. We'll say bananas. And maybe we have milk. Put a semicolon to end that. So we'll say log shopping bag. Let me fix this. So there we can see we have 3 items. That's our first array. So now what if we want to look at the items individually? So in order to view these items individually, since we talked about having an index, we can put in another square brackets and call that specific position. So since apples is position 0, if we change that to position 1, we get bananas. And if we switch it to position 2, we get milk. So now let's say, what if we want to see every item in the shopping bag? We can use a for loop for this. So let's get rid of our console log. So we'll create our for loop again. We'll set the conditions. So let I, our counter, equals 0, where I is less than shopping bag. We'll put dot length at the end. So that's going to be the length of how many items we have in our shopping bag. Do I++, saying add 1 each time. Open our curly brackets, saying what to do during each round. So we'll say console.log shopping bag. I'll put our square brackets I, saying for each I, saying the index. So we want 0, 1, 2, and that gives us apples, bananas, milk, since that's increasing. So that's how we loop through each item in our array with a for loop. Now, if you ever hear somebody talk about a list in JavaScript, it's basically the same thing as an array. Lists are a common term used in other coding languages like Python, so don't get confused. That's more than likely what someone's talking about. Alright, so let's get rid of all this. We can move on to objects. An object is kind of like a dictionary or a profile. It's going to store key value pairs. So let's start off with kind of like the array, create it with a let person equal time. Instead of square brackets, we're going to use curly brackets. So for our person, we need key value pairs. So let's say name colon equals Alice. So already right there, that's a key. The name is our key, and Alice is the value. We'll say maybe age is 25. We'll say is student true. Put our semicolon down here at the bottom of the curly brackets, saying this is where we want to end. Console.log person. So you can see here we have all of our key value pairs. That's our object. It has three pieces of information: name is the key, Alice is the value, same with age and is student. So now, how do we view this information individually, all of our keys and values? So instead of entering in an index, we would do person.name. So we're calling upon the key to get the value. Or same with age, same with student. Another way to do this, kind of like the arrays, you can put your square brackets, but call the key this way and it'll return the same value. But now what if we decide that we want to update a value in our object? So we can call upon the specific key that we want to update. We'll say maybe Alice is actually 26. So you can see right there, it went from 25 to 26. Or what if we want to add a value? Again, calling person first because it's the name of the object, and we'll add city. We'll say that's equal to New York. So now if we open this back up, you can see now we have city equals New York in there. So let's combine what we've learned so far. You can have arrays inside of objects. So let's get rid of all this. Say let student equal, open up our object, name equals Ben, grades equals 90, 85, and 88. Put our semicolon, console.log, student.grades, 1. So right there is an example where we have an array inside of an object, or we can even do it the other way. We can have objects inside of arrays. So let's see what that looks like. Let's let people equal, open our array brackets, square, name equals Lily, age 22, and maybe we also have Max, and Max is 30. So if we do just people, we can see both of our objects inside of our array. Again, if you do 0, it lets us see just the first object. Then we can even take it a step further and call specifically the name. So you can see there's a lot of different ways to access the data and information that you need. So let's practice. Here's a list of your favorite movies stored in an array, and we'll print them out. So let's create that. We'll say let favorite movies, and again this can be whatever you want it to be. So maybe Inception, Spider Man, and maybe Coco. Say for I equals 0, I is less than favorite movies dot length, open our curly brackets, console.log, I love watching so there we are. We now looped through an array. So it's a simple, clean, and easy to expand. And that's it for today. You just learned how to use arrays, objects, also known as dictionaries, and how to loop through them. These are some of the most important tools in all of JavaScript, and you are now one step closer to building real projects. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to keep learning with me. Drop a comment if you have questions or want me to cover a topic more in detail, and I'll see you in the next episode.